And then the computer died. Hey everybody, welcome back to Rattlecan Guitar Restorations. I'm James, and I am about to tell you a tale of great woe and sadness. Approximately 3 weeks ago, I came in and discovered that the computer, which is usually making all kinds of fantastical, magical whirring noises, was making none of that. It was dead like a dead thing. It was no mas bueno. Computadora de muerto. Made most of that up. So I built this computer 6 years ago when I was living in Japan, and I spared very little expense in building this computer. At the time, I put the best stuff in that I could afford, which did cost me a princely sum. So it has been chugging along for these 6 years, and it has edited thousands of photos and rendered a good deal of HD video, and it has done it very well. My render times, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can watch it in full 1080 HD with high quality sound, and my render times are about anywhere from 50 to a minute and 5 seconds per minute. So if I'm gonna render a 10-minute video, it takes about 11 minutes, which is pretty good. But then it died. So I did a little bit of troubleshooting. Looked like it was the power supply. Got a buddy who has a power supply tester, ran it over to him, and we confirmed it was indeed non-functional. So there's 2 days gone already. I order a new one, an 80 gold standard power supply. This one was a Corsair. Gonna make a big video all about it, install it. Still not working, not good. So we've confirmed through testing that the power supply was bad. Through some troubleshooting and some jumpering and a whole lot of you Googleizing, come to the conclusion that the motherboard's probably dead too. So my state-of-the-art computer from 6 years ago, not state-of-the-art today. So I have to find a replacement motherboard. And I have the older LGA 2011 socket, because I'm running a second edition Sandy Bridge processor for the minute number of people who really care about that kind of stuff. And I'm running DDR3 memory. The combination of that really narrows down what was available out there. So I was able to, again, my buddy, just one, was able to find a compatible board out in the California. This is an actual Intel board. The old board was an ASUS board. And so now we have to wait another, 4 or 5 days for that to get here. So now the motherboard gets here. Get the motherboard plugged in. I still got the video. Still having massive problems. Did a little bit of testing, did some jumper pulling, some power supply pulling. Turns out the video card is also the dead. So electricity does crazy things when it goes wrong, and it is certainly not out of the realm of possibility for a power supply to let go, kill itself, kill the motherboard, kill the video card. So, a couple $100 on a power supply, a couple more $100 on a motherboard, a couple $300 on a video card, and now we're back up and running. She runs and screams like a champ. But that's just what happens. So this big grand plan of me making a video on replacing a power supply was very quickly replaced by just madness and frustration. and chasing down error codes and trying to get drivers updated and things to work. And what's the point of all of this? You know, sometimes stuff just goes wrong. You know, we do our best to plan for it. We do our best to anticipate it. But when stuff goes wrong, you just have to deal with it. In the old days when I was Evil James, there would have been a great dark cloud in the house when something like this would have happened. And now that I'm old and wise, and well, mostly old, not very wise, it's just kind of par for the course. Now, does it screw things up for Rattlecan? Totally, because we are well into our 4th or 5th month worth of budget. Money that would have gone towards projects. That's now, now in a nicely functioning computer box so that I can make this video telling you this terrible tale of woe. And so if you're a follower of the channel, that explains the delay. If you're a follower of Mrs. Rattlecan's house, then that will explain why for a couple, 3 weeks, suddenly the episodes, they look a little bit different, because almost all of that was filmed on a phone. Some of the stuff you saw here was filmed on a phone, because that's all I had. So anyways, we're back up and running mostly. We're still cleaning up. I mean, everywhere I look, there's just stuff, you know, all kinds of stuff that you never use working on guitars or mandolins or violins or stuff. So we're in the process of trying to get all of that cleaned up in the midst of trying to beat this deadline of getting Mrs. Rattlecan's house done. And so this is just kind of my way of saying, sorry guys, you know, we're behind on some stuff, but now that we're kind of functioning and moving along, we're going to try to get stuff up and going. We've got a bunch of episodes in the can for Mrs. Rattlecan's house. I've got an episode or 2 already plotted out and ready to go for the guitar shop. And then tomorrow, well, it was horrible today. It was 20 today. It's supposed to be nice and warm. It's supposed to be 42 tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to make a concerted effort in the afternoon to get into the garage and use the bandsaw to cut some pieces out so we can put our binding machine together. I've got a whole big pile of binding machine parts just sitting there. But again, I'm old and not that wise, and I just don't like running a bandsaw when it's, you know, cold. So anyways, that's what's going on. Thanks for your patience. If you've got comments, be sure to put them down below the sermon notes. We love to hear what you guys write most of the time. There's a couple of unsavory comments, but you know, we got filters on because we're trying real hard to stay family friendly. And speaking of family friendly, if you have a channel that is still struggling for watch time and or subscriptions, make sure that you watch those channels. There are some people that are trying to beat the clock to get in on YouTube's monetization since they moved the goalpost again. Mrs. Rattlecan's house, not even in contention. Now, I'm not saying don't subscribe. I'm not saying don't come over and watch us, but if you're trying to help people to get in under the wire so that they can maybe make a buck or two, then put your efforts towards those people, because there are some that are really close. They're, you know, 100 subscribers away, or they're, you know, somebody binge watching for a couple of days the content that they have. Help those folks out. By the same token, if you've got 25 subscribers and 4 videos and you're asking people to help you get your monetization, dude, just concentrate on making good content and it'll eventually come. Because that's the key, is make good content. Do we do it here? Probably not going to get any sort of YouTube award for this video, that's for sure. So anyways, that's what's going on. Again, thanks for everything. Thanks for your patience. I actually stood in the workshop the other day. I wasn't doing anything guitar related, but it was the first time I actually stood in the workshop and did stuff. And I have to admit, I may have daydreamed a little bit. I may have looked at wall space and gone, radial arm saw will look good right there. Dust collector will look good there. Planer will look good there. Joiner will look good there. That kind of stuff. It's coming. I just gotta be patient. There's just a bunch of crap to get out of the way. Anyways, I'm James. You guys have a great weekend. Cheers.
Hey, if you like this episode of Rattlecan Guitar Restorations, you might want to check this video out as well. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, and if you'd like to help the channel grow, consider stepping over to our Patreon page and giving that a look. Y'all have a good weekend. Cheers.